Well, as we get closer and closer to the election in November, we're probably going to start hearing a lot more about Donald Trump's border wall. I mean, after all, that was the big thing that he campaigned on in 2016, talked about it for the good first 3 years of his administration, and then suddenly, last 6, 7 months, I haven't heard anything about the border wall. Now, admittedly, there's been a pandemic and an economic collapse in there the last 7 months, but the border wall is still a thing, right? I mean, parts of it have been built. Some of it's been built by the federal government. Other parts have actually been built by private organizations. You know, like the We Build the Wall group that all recently got arrested for charitable fraud, for using the money to enrich themselves. But hey, they actually did pay $1.5 million as part of a $20 to $30 million project to build a 3-mile stretch of wall along the Rio Grande. And they actually hired a company called Fisher Sand and Gravel to build that part of the wall. And Fisher Sand and Gravel has been one of Donald Trump's preferred contractors to build the wall. He has recommended them. He has spoken highly of them. And that is because the president of the company, Tommy Fisher, is not only a big Trump donor, but somebody who regularly appears on Fox News to talk about how awesome Trump is. And of course, what a great idea the wall is, because he stands to make billions from it if he gets the contracts. But according to a new analysis by engineering groups that were actually ordered to do the analysis by the court system, Fisher's not doing a good job building the wall. And the few miles of wall that he has been hired to build by private funders, not by the federal government, but the few miles after just a few months is already starting to crumble because it was very shoddy. And according to engineers who've looked at it, not only was it shoddy, but plenty of corners were cut. You know, subpar equipment and products used. And worst of all, he didn't take into account how the terrain itself would affect erosion. Specifically being right there on the Rio Grande with the sand and silt, the water. They say any of that is going to cause this thing to absolutely fall down. In short, this guy doesn't know what he is doing. And this wall hasn't even been up for a year, and it's literally falling apart right now. And this is a guy that Donald Trump wants to give big contracts to build the whole wall. This is a group that the charity fraud folks over at We Build the Wall gave $1.5 million to. Wow. Tommy Fisher, man, you must be really proud of yourself. Actually, Fisher, just about 2 months ago, I think it was in July, went on a podcast hosted by Steve Bannon, of all people. And Bannon asked him about these accusations of shoddy engineering work, because they were floating around back then before this report came out. And he said, that's ridiculous. None of that's true. We're doing great work. And, I'll meet anybody down there and I'll show them how awesome this is because I'm great at this. And Bannon then went on to say, I've learned everything I know about building walls from you, Mr. Fisher. Whatever the hell that means. Yeah, maybe you should find another teacher, Bannon. Maybe you could find one in prison because you're facing 20 years, by the way, on the counts that you're facing. Nevertheless, folks, the wall has been a big giant grift for the right. Whether it's the We Build the Wall people, whether it's, Fisher Sand and Gravel, anyone who thinks they can pocket a little bit of cash off this lofty promise from Donald Trump that he has no intention of actually following through on, they're going to do it. And the Republican donors out there, the average Republican voters, you're going to be the ones footing the bill for it.